Right. And what my father and his partners found out was that that really these kids could recover, that they could do better, that it was mostly malnutrition, poverty. It's not like fetal alcohol syndrome, that it was really not this direct connection between the crack cocaine and the problems with these kids. But what he found was that the women that were pregnant and were addicted were driven away from phones dinging again, man. Just put it on Do Not Disturb. Just turn it off. All you boomers and your goddamn gadgets. Boomers. Yeah. But he found that these women were dissuaded from seeking treatment. Why? Because they were worried that they would have their babies taken away from them, because they were worried they were going to go to jail. So the drug war is counterproductive in that the people that need the help the most are driven away from seeking it because of the stigma and shame and criminality. But then they screw up sometimes and do like what Portland did, where they just go, everybody just do whatever you want. And then, unfortunately, you've already set a culture where you've allowed people to do fentanyl in the street and meth and whatever else they want. And then the laws pass where you decriminalize everything. It's legal free-for-all. Yeah. And then, unfortunately, you have chaos. And then they pulled back the law because it was just too much. People were going there just so they could get high. Well, that's the important point, but you just said people were going there. So what that means is that, and we saw this in Zurich. So there was a place in Zurich multiple decades ago called Needle Park, where they decided to provide access to healthcare, access to safe injection sites, things like this for heroin addicts and others in Zurich. And it was working, because when you treat people as humans like that, they will often seek other treatment. And then if they're not necessarily criminals, but then people come from all over and overwhelm the capacity because it's this one humane site, and then it became an open air drug market. Just people from all over Europe started coming, and then they had the backlash. Yeah. So I think it's something somewhat similar in Portland, where you try some of these things on a local basis, but then it attracts people from all over, and then it turns into the opposite of what they'd hoped. Right. Yeah, and I just think also they had gone through the whole defund the police thing. They were just overwhelmed by gas. Portland's just out of control. We're so lovely.
Shame
just so lovely.
Yeah,
that's
the thing I want to change people's perspective, break this stigma.
People that camping on the street, once that happened and you tolerated people just putting tents up in the middle of the city, it's like, don't ignore these people. Like, either help them out or tell them they have to move or do something. You can't just clog up your city with mentally ill drug addicts who are in tents. That's crazy. It is, and it's hard to have these local solutions because it attracts those people. Exactly. So they probably got on trains from Portland, but they did.
Yeah, no.
So these kind of solutions.
No local solutions. Everywhere the same.
The wrong idea. It
should be.
Do it on a local basis like that, and not have
that
it widely distributed. So
basically, Addicts' life, and majority will seek help, at least with substitutional therapy, such as mine, like methadone or Suboxone or anything else that don't chase street drugs every day.
And I think that's the kind of humane approach. But that's where we should be leaning. As a society, that's a healthy, intelligent society. And also, we should be paying attention to the people that report great benefits.